Poland has been so important, and in Turkey, because it's shown that when we fight, we can actually win and push back even extremely right-wing parties like the we have to take inspiration from the tens of thousands of people that came out onto the young people that came out to the streets immediately as soon as Trump got elected to say that they will not allow him one moment to continue with his sexist, racist policies, and that his election has to be a warning to us that we have to continue the struggles of women that have developed all around the world and push them forward.
Para falar sobre as mulheres, a situação das mulheres no mundo, é muito importante compreender, partir do ponto de qual conjuntura que nós estamos falando.
To speak about the situation of the women in the world today, it's important to know, to understand about the special conjuncture that we are living now.
Essa nova fase da América Latina, a nova fase acompanhada de um novo momento da crise econômica na América Latina, tem impactado o conjunto dos trabalhadores de maneira brutal.
There is a new stage, a new phase in the situation in Latin America, mainly because of the economic crisis that has impacted, impacted the workers in general.
E existem setores na classe trabalhadora que são ainda mais vulneráveis e são atingidas de maneira ainda mais aguda com essa crise.
And inside the working class, there is a special sector that are much more affected by the crisis.
As mulheres são as mais afetadas, isso no conjunto da América Latina.
Like the women that are most affected in the whole Latin America.
As mulheres negras, as mulheres LGBTs ainda são triplamente, quadruplamente mais afetadas.
And the black women and the LGBT, etc., are much more affected than the others also.
Recentemente, há pouco mais de um mês atrás, um grande movimento explodiu novamente na América Latina, mais precisamente na Argentina, em defesa da vida das mulheres.
Like, 1 month ago, there was a big movement in Latin America, especially in Argentina, on the question of the defense of the rights of the women.
Mais de 1 milhão de mulheres saíram às ruas nas principais cidades e capitais na Argentina em defesa da vida das mulheres.
More than 1 million women took the streets in defense of the life of the women in Argentina.
A consigna do movimento é nenhuma a menos.
The main demand of the movement is not one
less.
No one less. Yeah.
Na verdade, esse foi a segunda onda de lutas na América Latina que foi impulsionada pela morte de uma garota jovem que foi duramente violentada.
This is the second wave of struggles on the question of women in Latin America, and it was the spark for this big mobilization. It was the attack on very young women that was, attacked, sexual attack in Argentina.
Isso gerou uma onda de solidariedade, de mobilização, de organização das mulheres no conjunto da América Latina e no mundo também.
This provoked a wave of solidarity inside Latin America, but in the whole world.
Só para ter alguma ideia dos números, entender o que é essa crise, a cada 40 horas uma mulher é assassinada na Argentina.
Just to have an idea of the dimension, of the size of the question, each 40 hours one woman is killed in Latin America.
A cada 90 minutos, uma mulher é assassinada no Brasil.
Each 90 minutes, a woman is killed in Brazil.
A cada 11 segundos, uma mulher é estuprada no Brasil.
Each 11 seconds, one woman is raped in Brazil.
Na Venezuela, o número de mulheres que estão abandonando suas crianças por inexistência de condições para manter essas crianças tem crescido também brutalmente.
So the number of women that has to leave their children because of the economic situation has grown in the last period.
Assim como o número de violência doméstica também tem aumentado.
And also the situation of domestic violence has grown also.
E nos outros países da América Latina a situação não é diferente.
And in the other countries in Latin America it's not different.
Mas o que tem sido muito positivo é a resposta a essa situação grave, ao feminicídio.
But the reaction of the women in relation to this situation, mainly the killing of women, has been very strong.
As ruas e a luta têm sido apontado como caminho para as nossas vitórias.
So the way for the victory of the women is to take the streets, is the struggle.
No Brasil, a situação é ainda mais particular porque envolve a condição de vida das mulheres negras.
In Brazil, specifically, there is a specific situation on the question of the black women,
Sobretudo porque tem aumentado em 54% o número de mulheres negras que estão morrendo nos últimos anos.
There has been a growth of around 54% of the number of black women killed in Brazil in the last year.
Isso, na verdade, significou, nas últimas eleições regionais, uma vitória importante com a eleição e com a vitória de camaradas, de mulheres do PSOL, do campo da esquerda, que ganharam a partir dessas pautas específicas de gênero, de etnia.
In the last local elections in Brazil, there has been 10 women elected by the left-wing parties like the PSOL as councillors in the middle of this campaign and this struggle of the women in the country.
São boas e grandes as perspectivas de reorganização da luta das mulheres.
So we have good perspectives for the reorganization of the struggle of the women.
Uma nova camada de mulheres jovens tem se aproximado das lutas e se organizado para enfrentar essa situação.
There is a new layer of young women that are becoming active and fighting in this situation.
O desafio agora é a gente compreender que esse processo, de fato, é um fenômeno mundial.
So we have to understand that this situation is a world-scale situation.
Na Polônia, quando as companheiras vão às ruas para fazer uma greve de mulheres, para dizer que elas são contra qualquer retrocesso na legalização do aborto, isso mostra também que é mais uma pauta central para as mulheres.
An example is the situation in Poland where the women has organized a strike against the retreat on the right of abortion, etc.
Na Turquia, as mulheres se organizam para dizer não ao casamento supostamente obrigatório com o estuprador como uma política de Estado.
In Turkey, the women organized also against this policy to oblige the women to marry in a situation of rape. Yeah, the rapers marry the rapers.
É uma situação, é uma política muito parecida com uma política pública que tem sido discutida e tem sido combatida pelas mulheres no Brasil, que se chama Estatuto do Nascituro.
It's a situation similar of what happens in Brazil, where there is a struggle against a new law with some similarities with the situation in Turkey.
Uma lei que tem como objetivo garantir um salário para que as mulheres que têm filho como resultado do estupro não abortem.
It's a law that has the aim to pay some money for the women that was raped and has children and are pregnant, for them to decide to abortion. Yeah.
Exatamente. E essa lei, na verdade, é uma lei que, ao mesmo tempo que faz com que as mulheres sejam obrigadas a ter esses filhos, criminaliza, inclusive, os casos de aborto que até então são autorizados por lei.
So in the same law, you have the other side that also is that they are retreating the cases, the situations where the abortion is legalized. So.
E essa lei, na verdade, tem sido combatida nas ruas e até hoje não conseguiu sair de algumas sessões do parlamento, justamente porque as mulheres saem às ruas de maneira organizada para combater, para denunciar e para impedir que ela siga à frente.
But this project of this new law has not, has been succeeded because there is a big struggle of the women in the streets, etc. against it.
Na verdade, acho que a tarefa colocada hoje para nós socialistas é construir essas lutas, ter clareza que essa é uma pauta extremamente importante para a luta socialista, para a luta anticapitalista, e isso, mais do que tudo, é uma pauta que garante a vida das mulheres.
For us, it's very important to understand that this struggle is part of the struggle of the socialists, it's fundamental part of the struggle of the left, and what is it's about the life of the women.
Afinal, não existe nenhuma possibilidade do socialismo sem que ele incorpore as pautas feministas, as pautas antirracistas e a luta dos setores mais oprimidos.
So we cannot have socialism if you will not stand together with the main demands of the feminist movement and of the women, the rights of the women, etc.
Assim como não há nenhuma possibilidade de vitória da luta das mulheres, da luta do povo negro dentro do capitalismo.
So at the same time, there is no perspective for victory for the women and the black people inside capitalism.
É isso, e seguimos na luta.
We go forward in the struggle.
Oh, that's brilliant. So Jani gave an incredible description of some of the global movements that have broken out for women's rights and women's freedoms all around the world. In Ireland, I'm very active in the movement for abortion rights there. We have one of the most restrictive laws in the world in a country that's in the heart of the EU and would like to pretend it's progressive, where there's actually a constitutional abortion ban. Women avoid death on a daily basis by travelling to access abortions, but it has resulted in the deaths of women and refugee women, women without papers, poor women women in abusive relationships that face restrictions on their travel are the most severely affected by this horrendously medieval ban. But there's been a massive movement now led by women, led by young people, led by LGBT people who also delivered yes to marriage equality in a massively significant referendum a year and a half ago. And we feel actually that things are on our side, and the aspiration of women and of young people is for a secular progressive society whereby the church hasn't got an influence in the personal decisions of women and so on. But clearly a massive struggle has to be waged, because the whole basis of the state is to be extremely conservative, is to be afraid to take on the Catholic Church. And that's why the movement in Poland has been so important, and in Turkey, because it's shown that when we fight, we can actually win and push back even extremely right-wing parties like the Law and Justice Party in Poland that are working in tandem with the Catholic Church. That's a real feature when you look at the countries like Brazil, Ireland, Poland, where abortion rights are nowhere to be found, is the role of the Church, of course. But another thing maybe to point to is just the fact that a generation of young women, I feel, are rejecting corporate bourgeois feminism. It doesn't hold any appeal. Look at the movement around Sanders. Young women were at the forefront of that because Clinton had no appeal. The Wall Street, Walmart, warmonger candidate is not representative of the feminism that these young people aspire to, which is a feminism that's actually anti-racist, anti-war, anti-capitalist. And I think it's quite frightening that Trump has got elected. The person with the most powerful political position in the whole world is somebody who thinks it's okay to brag about sexual assault, who had the absolute audacity to say all Mexicans are rapists, by the way. How vile and disgusting. And that's a threat. That's a huge threat, but it's a huge warning. And I don't think it'll be accepted by the new generation of women becoming feminist, LGBTQ activists and so on in the US and all around the world. So we also want to send our solidarity to the women that will be marching on Washington and all the people who will be marching on Washington on the 20th and 21st of January. And we'll hopefully have solidarity protests all around the world, but also have a discussion on why we need a feminism that is anti-capitalist, that is socialist as well, because one of the big features of these movements, like if there's all the links in Poland, the women's strike, such an inspiring action, inspired the movement in Argentina. Like that was what pushed it on to take the idea of a strike action. I think that all around the world we're seeing that it's actually one struggle against a system that's sexist, that's racist, and also has the huge wealth that exists in society in the hands of a tiny few. And if we don't challenge all those things, we will not be able to achieve equality for everyone. We don't want just equality or the glass ceiling to be broken for a tiny elite of women. We want freedom and equality for everyone.
Junte-se a nós na luta em defesa das mulheres, dos negros, da comunidade LGBT, numa luta socialista e revolucionária.
Join us in the struggle of the women, the black people, the LGBT people, in a true revolutionary socialist struggle.
A única real possibilidade, a única legítima e consequente possibilidade de lutar contra as opressões é lutar contra o capitalismo. Estamos juntos nessa.
The only way to fight the oppression is also to fight capitalism, and we are together in this struggle.